If you want to see what stock market manipulation looks like, you just witnessed a perfect example. The Plunge protection team was out in full force, completely put into effect by computer algorithms. Let this be a warning to everyone that there is no real market anymore. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today we're going to look at the wild swings that occurred. I want to show you how these markets are manipulated. Let's begin. You can see there are three very important technical indicators: the 50-day, 100-day, and 200-day moving average. You will see over the past few days, the market began to tumble downward. But as soon as it broke the 100-day moving average, it climbed upward. All right, so that's one example. Then as soon as it hits the 50-day moving average, the market begins to tank yet again. It breaks through the line, comes back above it, but it doesn't last long because the market decides to drop down to the all-important 200-day moving average. And as soon as it gets to that moment, the Plunge protection team reacts and pushes the market back up. And that's where we are as of Friday's close. This is a perfect textbook example of market manipulation, computer algorithms, Plunge protection team, government intervention, powers that be intervening into these markets. This is not an average human trader. This is not your average investor, somebody investing in mutual funds or stocks directly. For the most part, these people just hang on. They just hold on for dear life, as they say. But here, this is the actions of computers. And remember, human trading is almost 0% of the total trades that take place in a given trading session. Negligible. So we can see that. We can see the manipulation taking place. This is a perfect example, and I want you to use this example. You can take a screenshot. The link, of course, will be under the sources as always from Zero Hedge. But you can see this. Take a look. Show this to people. Show them how it works, how computers manipulate the market. If you want some firepower, this is the one you got to use, okay? Look at this here. The European markets, the Asian markets, they're down. You can see no matter where you look, basically all markets travel together. And I want to show you this as an example. You know, whether it's Germany, whether it's Italy, Spain, you look around the world, it doesn't matter. Look how they all basically move in lockstep. Notice that. Completely different countries, right? But day after day, the markets basically track each other. Isn't that funny? Each one has a different economy, has different leaders, different politicians, different banks, different services that they provide. They maybe have different agriculture. They might have different commodities. Maybe one mines, one does more service industries. But they all move together because it's all manipulation. It's all computers trading on the same information. That's the way I see it anyway. I hope you see what I'm saying there. Because you could say, oh no, Germany's going to do well, Italy's not going to do well, Spain's not going to do well, but this country might do well because it's already very low, therefore it has room to grow. There's a lot of infrastructure, there's this and that. There's nothing but manipulation anymore. All countries are interconnected. Yes, some will fare better than others. There's no doubt about that. But you cannot go ahead and say that they don't all move in lockstep, because ever since the year 2000, that's really what has happened. So you can see that this chart here already has the Money GPS famous drawings here, but essentially what we're looking at is the same information. It is now coming upward, but we are still off from that peak. It has come down quite significantly, even when you factor in Friday's close. The S&P 500 RSI, something that I've shown you here before, most overbought ever, and this is the worst momentum swing ever. So you can see that there's somewhat of a variance as time goes on, but right now it is insane when you see this for yourself. Now, I'm going to show you some of the swings that have been experienced here. I mean, we see the market, if you looked at it over, let's say 2017 into January 2018, you would notice something pretty consistent, okay? The market moved basically up, and along the way, there's this like little tiny jagged lines of pullbacks, but for the most part, just moving straight up. So anybody who was investing throughout 2017 was doing well. The market just kept going up and up. There was very few setbacks, right? 2017. Then we hit 2018. And this is what we've been seeing. Minus 300, plus 400, 1,800, up 1,000, 1,600. I mean, you could see it for yourself. It's dramatic. It's not what was happening in 2017 at all. What has happened just in, let's say, February has been completely different for the past, at least that I've been tracking this, 13 months. So something's really different here. Nothing on the surface level, of course. There has been this fake claim that it is interest rate, the threat of interest rates rising. We know that's not the case because, we could say that it's because the new Fed chair is in and maybe they don't know how he's going to act or whatever. We know the new boss is going to be the same as the old boss, right? So I don't know what they're really getting at here. Record outflows. $30 billion from equity funds. Records. Again, I would have to say that when you look around the world, you definitely see that there have been a lot of changes in what people have been doing. I mean, the trade on the VIX, shorting the VIX, seems like that wasn't such a good idea. But one of the points that I wanted to note was that things always come out of nowhere. One moment, everything makes sense. All the fundamentals are there. Everything's growing. And then some piece of news somewhere comes out. Maybe it's a bank failure. Maybe it's a country that can't pay back their bills. They have to default. Maybe it's just something very small and it snowballs in a very short period of time. And all of a sudden, nothing makes sense. All of a sudden, throw out all the rules. There's, people running for the exits. That's the way this happens. Volatility, while we are not at the peak level that was experienced just a few days ago, you can definitely see that we are still at a very high level considering where we came from on the VIX at about 8. 8 is basically nothing, okay? On the VIX, quite frankly, is volatile. It's a volatility index, and it in itself is volatile. But for the longest period of time, it really wasn't volatile. It was trading at the bottom for the longest period of time. And then out of nowhere, it just shot up to the moon. Bond and stock 10-day return percentage going back, guess what? 2009. Back into 2009. We haven't seen this before. And I tend to say that a lot, but that's just the way it goes. There are many indicators which have brought us back into the financial crisis. That's why I like to call this the financial crisis part 2. Nothing was resolved from the first time around. And maybe I was a little naive back in 2009 because I thought to myself, there may be some opportunities for investment, but I just want to see resolution to the core problems, because then after that, we'll see some improvement. We're going to see some good things happen. Absolutely nothing at all was resolved. I was surprised about it. But maybe I was a little naive, and as the days went on and as I saw what was going on in the mainstream media, the way that the central banks were acting, I immediately threw that out of the window and realized it looks like they're not going to fix any problems yet again. It's pretty sad to see it like that. I mean, a lot of people, their pension funds and everything else, they're going to get taken away. They're going to get reduced. They call them reforming entitlements, but you can call it what you want. That's all for this video. If you found it informative, please give me a thumbs up. When you give me a thumbs up, it supports the channel. When you share these videos, it supports this channel. Of course, you want to be one of the 85,000 plus people at the Money GPS who subscribe. When you subscribe, you're going to get notified all the time. But you also, there's a little bell icon that's beside the subscribe button. You want to hit that as well, because that makes sure that you get notified. There are literally hundreds of people who are not aware that YouTube has unsubscribed them from my channel. So make sure that you are subscribed and check, on occasion, because I find that people consistently are getting unsubscribed. So it's very important that you would just hit that subscribe button. Let's make our way to 100,000. It's a personal goal of mine. Definitely want to get there, and I appreciate if you would support me along the way. Thank you very much to everybody who supports me in every single way. I'm truly, truly very appreciative of that. If you want to take a look through the books, there are links in the description of this video. Take care.